Welcome back to today's episode. Today we're going to work on installing the Haltech IC7 dash into the existing dash cluster. There's other options you can do. You could always stick the IC7 just in front of your original instrument cluster. You could mount it from, like a suction cap off the actual windscreen itself, or you could put it into where, there might be a spot in the center console where you're, underneath where the head unit goes. It's really up to you. It's user preference. I wanted to put it in the dash and remove the old cluster because it's 1989 and looks pretty crappy. I think it comes up pretty well. So in this episode, we'll just jump right in and I'll go through a bit of a hands-on demonstration on how I completed it and got it all done. Hope you like it. Hey. So, moving on, going to attempt to install the IC7 Haltech dash with the Mako dash surround today. Looks pretty straightforward, but just obviously I've never done it before, so it's taken me a little bit of time to get my head around. So yeah, I'll just walk you through what I'm thinking, and from my experience in the last 12 months, what I'm thinking, what happens. The fucking same thing. But you never know. We might be all right. So, all right, let's have a look at this wicked bunch of kit I've got. Before we do it, I'll just sort of talk you through what I'm thinking. So, probably should have taken a bit of video, but I've removed the dash that's all been wired up, all the instrument cluster that's all out. These are your wires for cruise control, your windscreen wipers, blah blah blah. That's all been taken out. That's already the Mako surround. We'll get into this stuff just in a second. This is the dash surround or cluster, or I don't even know the right terminology for it, but the dash surround, the cluster surround or whatever, that's going to go, that was existing, and your Mako basically fits on the inside of it. So it goes something like that. Now the biggest issue I've found, and I'm sure any other guys that have got sort of VN to VS, is this section down here. You lose a whole row of data at the bottom of the IC7. So what I'm going to do, I posted I posted a question on the VN page on Facebook, Trust the Old Book, and I've seen about 100 different responses. The best I've seen is to actually, I'm going to Dremel gun out this section here because it's no longer required. I mean, if you guys obviously know that that section's there for all your warning lights, traction control, blah 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 blah. So I don't really need it because it'll all be now on the display itself. So I'm gonna cut down the bottom here, and then I'm just gonna get a bit of plastic filler, fill it, sand it, respray the guy, and then reinstall. So hopefully when this sits in, it'll sit in nice, and you'll be able to see the whole IC7 itself. So that's there. I've got all my connections in. Obviously, this connection here will go straight to the ICU, or the ECU, sorry, the Haltech Platinum. That's all going to connect up there. And this is like a comms cable. I can actually use this little fitting here, and then I can basically Dremel like a hole in here or a hole wherever I decide to do in the dash, and I can have like a port that I can plug in my cable, my data cable, and I'll be able to connect my laptop straight to that, which is pretty cool. It means I can get live data, I can make changes as we're going. So yeah, that's pretty much all the kit I've got for it, and I'm going to give it a crack and start Dremeling it all out and see how it goes. So we'll check back in soon and see how it all is. Alright, so that's the actual IC, the Mako dash surround in, thanks to Mako and the guys at Speed Parts for that. And then I've got the IC7s mounted in. There's just 3 screws that basically mount to the Mako, and then you feed your comms and your ECU connection basically just down underneath there, so I can run it to wherever it needs to go. There's 4 screws that hold the Mako in. You've got your one. I just had to use like a small washer there just to get a bit more bite, and just so I could sort of have that line level. That's obviously one thing you want to, keep in mind when you're doing it. Obviously, they start to tweak if you're not holding everything level. So you've got your 2 screws up the top, and then a third one over here. But unfortunately for me, mine's busted. That little guy there is busted. But the 3 there, like, I'm wobbling that pretty hard, and I'm not getting any movement. So I'm pretty confident that I'm not doing any major forward driving or Dukes of Hazzard fucking stunts, so that should hold up pretty well for eternity, I think, personally. So yeah, that's that. Let's crack in on Dremel gunning. So just a quick one before we move on, I suppose, for all you guys out there that are thinking maybe this could be a job for you. It's actually not really hard. All you've got to do is to take the actual your surround out. There's just a couple of bolts that'll disconnect it. It'll pull forward. You'll disconnect these from all your little side connectors. They'll come out with a little 8mm screw on either side. It all comes apart super easy. You don't have to take the dash out. Takes that apart. You obviously want to pull your bottom out, and then you can run it all pretty easy. And so yeah, let's crack on with the hard part now, and let's work on the Dremel gun and get this all back together. So I've got my dash. I've got an extra spare one, so let's get into it. So the first thing I notice is that the cutting wheel I have on my Dremel, I'm not going to be able to get in right to the edges, so I'm going to have to sort of just cut back and then sort of chase it in. I should be alright to cut these guys off once I get the wings. So yeah, let's see how we go. Alrighty, so I have cut it. You'll see here the original surround. It's obviously that shitty little below section that we spoke about before, and as you can see here, I have cut it. I've used this one as a demo model, but I'm going to still try and run with it. Cutting the sort of wings off here. If you're going to cut those, I just cut a little bit higher and then Dremel. Use a Dremel bit just to kind of chase it down. I think here I cut a bit too low, and you can see where it's sort of come off. You've got these little triangles, and on the inside here was actually pretty hard. I ended up just using the Recipro and sticking the part in a vise, and then I've cut your wings off. I've just put a bit of tape on the inside here, and then underneath, and I'm going to fill it with some epoxy, let it go hard, and then sort of sand it back. I unfortunately hit that as well, but I'm going to try and see if I can repair that as well. Alright, let's see how it goes once we've done some epoxy work. Alright, hopefully you can see. If you can't, it's because I'm a one-man fucking show here. So I've got some epoxy here. What I'm going to do is I've just tape underneath the bottom just to give me a bit of a backing. I'm just going to make sure that is re-stuck underneath. Is I find the trick with this stuff here, what we want to do is sort of build it out a bit, so you've actually got a bit of meat to sand back once the epoxy goes hard. Alright, that's that. And you want to work fairly quickly too, because you'll find with this stuff it goes off pretty quick.
So I definitely think about giving this a go. It really wasn't that hard. You know, just make sure that when you put the epoxy resin on, you work pretty quickly, and try and build it up so that way when you do start sanding it back, you can actually get it back to a nice flush surface. Takes a little bit of time, it's a little bit messy, but definitely well worth the effort.
Alright, okay, so I've got it prepped. It's probably could have done a little bit better in regards to the epoxy. Just this one section here, it's come up quite nice. I've sanded it all. It should come up pretty good. It feels all pretty good. Obviously this is the side section, but I mean realistically you're only going to sort of see that about there. But that's come up pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I've taped it all up, and I'm going to hit it with a acrylic primer and then a satin black, or actually satin black. Should give it the same color as what it had, and yeah, should be ready to install. See how it goes. Alright, let's hit it with the old primer first. God damn. Excuse the camera work there, guys. I'm trying. I haven't really used too much plastic primer before. I probably should have done it on the washer bottle. That's probably the one thing that I'm a little bit worried about. Hold up, is the paint on my crazy concept on the washer bottle. I don't think it'll hold up to the heat, and I don't think it'll hold up to the movement and stuff like that. I'll just show you. See, I've sprayed my washer bottle an indication line here that I use tape. I've already showed you guys that video. I think I have anyway, but I don't know how well it's going to hold up, which will be pretty interesting to see. Look, if it doesn't hold up, I can just take it out. I can hit it with some acetone. So anyway, I put some paint primer, some plastic primer on that, and then I'll give it a coat of black. Let that dry, and then we'll install it and hopefully see how it comes up. Alrighty, that's it done. Excuse the bad lighting, but so you've got your Mako dash surround behind, and your IC7 sits in there, and then obviously the the dash surround gets bolted in. It gets bolted in by 2 bolts that sit underneath there, and then obviously your trim, your sides go on. Let's just turn the ignition on so we can have a look. Just the injector's loading up. And we have ourselves a Haltech. Not bad. So I can obviously scroll through all
Oh, I can't, it's not working today. It's always times like these when these things don't want to work properly. I just got to load some more presets in. We're not too bad. And that's it for the episode. Thanks for watching this one. Look, it all went together pretty well. Excuse the footage at the end there, just of showing the IC7. It was a little bit dark. I did the best I could, but you know, you get the picture. It all came out really well. The next thing I'll do is plug the laptop into the IC7 and just download a few more presets, and just gives me a little bit more usability in regards to choosing what the interface is what I'd like to actually see. But yeah, definitely get ahead and get it done. It wasn't that hard at all. See you on the next episode. If you like watching what you see, please feel free to like and maybe even subscribe, or to share it to some of your mates. It all helps, gets it out there. Thank you.